Are you curious about what goes on behind the screens of a content creator's haven? Tonight, we explore Anna's journey from content creation initiation to cultivating genuine audience connections. And we also learn how she infuses her true passion into her online presence. This is sure to be an enlightening stream, and we are so excited to have Anna Zugheri joining us to share these insights.
Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we are, all about encouraging the 3 C's: connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and we are creators sharing our experiences despite our distance.
And tonight, we don't know if you've noticed, but I am currently sitting in Kevin's spot on the screen, and our special guest, Miss Anna, is joining us right here in the center. Anna is the founder and director of Faith 52, which started as a portable children's ministry in Houston, Texas. Through Faith 52, Anna and her team took Sunday school to children whose living conditions prevented them from attending church. She was born and raised in Mexico and served as a bilingual ministry translator in both missions and church contexts. She is a certified ministry coach who lives by her ministry tagline, love Jesus, obey Jesus, and tell everyone about him. Anna is also a podcaster and live streamer, and this is where I had the pleasure of meeting Anna. She is now someone who I call a dear friend. That is the beauty of being a content creator, cultivating friendships even with those we may never meet in person.
That's right.
So welcome, Anna. And to kick things off tonight, I would actually like to pose a question to both of you for consideration. What do you feel is one byproduct gift that you have been blessed with since starting your content creation journeys? Maybe something that you didn't expect to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Manny.
I tell you, one of the biggest things that happened to me that I would not have saw coming, didn't expect coming, was learning this video software stuff, learning how to go live and be a solo. How did you call it, Dori? Like a solo production when you did that one video, the one training. And I feel like from my fingers, I am controlling a complete production behind the scenes. So here I am working with clients in a video setup. I would have never thought in a million years that would happen, and so be it. Here we are. I'm working with a cooking show. I'm working with realtors, home builders, and here we are doing all this video, and I am behind the scenes controlling it, just a complete production, media stuff. So for me, I did not see that coming, and I've come to find I absolutely love it. So what about you, Anna? I look forward to hearing and learning a lot about your story.
Well, thank you. I second that too. That was one unexpected, but I actually have two that kind of go together. So it's the gift of friendship, Dori. Just like you said, I was not expecting have friends all over the country and all over the world because I have really sweet friends in the Philippines, in Denmark, in UK. Marcus is out there always all the time.
Marcus.
Our friend Mark is on the other side of the world. So that was a very unexpected gift. And it comes kind of like wrapped in a second gift, which is the networking that has helped my content creation. So that's been very unexpected. I didn't really started creating with that in mind. So that was pretty cool. What about you, Dori?
So I think I may have let the cat out of the bag a little bit when I mentioned about the friendships that I've created. But I think for me, it's how invested I became in people that I was never going to actually sit down and have a real coffee with,
Yeah.
and how invested some of these people became in me. How the
Mm.
relationships have not only helped me grow as a creator, but more importantly, how they've helped me grow as a person. And I've come to really rely on and enjoy like you two and Kevin and other creators, Marcus, Lala. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, my life is just so much richer having decided to dive into this. And that is so not where my journey first started when I started creating content. So I think that's a special byproduct, something I
Yeah.
know I didn't expect when I started the journey. But so I'm really excited, Anna, to hear a little bit about your process tonight, the things that you do to prepare and complete your content creation, show flow, and ideas that you've taken away. But before we get into that, if this is the type of content and special guests that you would like to see more of, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you do get notified whenever we go live. And then, without further ado, we are going to kick it over to Anna.
Thank you so, so much. So I am super honored to be here. And I am a big fan of this show. And so to me, it means a lot. I am here every Sunday as a subscriber and as a learner because I've learned so much from you two guys. So actually, the three of y'all, we're missing one piece today. But I've learned so much. And so here is I wanted to share with y'all some of the stuff that I've learned, so you can see the fruit of your labor, if you would. So like I said, it's an honor for me. And just retouching a little bit on what Dori said, this, because this is what I prepare for today, not really knowing, but the networking that content creation or being a live streamer or a podcaster does for your life. So I want to share a PowerPoint, if I may, because I love PowerPoint presentations. I'm a little bit of a nerd. So I want to talk to you today about the content that creates networking. So let's talk a little bit about networking. I recently read somewhere, and I can't remember the source, but if it's in the internet, it's true. That's what they say, right? So I read that each person has about an 80 people network in their lifetime, like not in their lifetime, but at the moment. It could be changing as you grow and move and, change jobs or whatever. But each one of us have a network of about 80 people. You think about it, the people that you have connections at church, at the grocery store that you go all the time, your coworkers, your family. If you count all that people, you have 80 people. So if I had all those 80 people subscribe to my channel, I mean, I have halfway there, right? So just think about that. I think it's just for fun, but I like to think of networking as a spider web, right? And it just starts growing and growing and growing. And so, what does that do as a content creator? Well, my content might not be helpful to you. Most of my content is based on my faith, and just my walk with Jesus. And I might not be your cup of tea, but you might have an aunt or a friend that are interested in learning about Jesus or the Bible or the things that I share about. How do I apply the Bible to my life? And hopefully people will relate to that. So it might not be you, but somebody in your network. So I think that is the beauty of networking. So with that, let's get creative. I have, this is what I'm going to try to go through in our time together. We're going to talk about my process on creating, and those in that process, I create, I invite, I create a show flow, I gather information, I create a promo, and I add people to my network. So let's see how I do it, okay? We're going to start with the topic of the month. And I know this is just a screenshot just to give you an idea, and you cannot see it very well. But this is how I start the process, with a basic spreadsheet. And, like, my show is called So Basic with a Little Extra, because I feel like I am just very casual, very basic, nothing extraordinary, as it comes to fanciness talking about. So I like to do things in the most simple way. So spreadsheet, it's really my friend. So as you can see here, I have a spreadsheet with different columns, and I'm gonna look at my notes because I can't remember all the tabs in here, but I have columns with the date broken by month. I only go live once a week. So it's easy for me to think about a monthly topic. So I pick a topic of the month. Like for this month is Christmas. It's easy, right? Because that one is given. So I think about four things that I would like to talk about during that month. So like I say, this is the month of Christmas. I'm going to talk about how to pray, because a lot of people, you would think we all know how to pray, but there is a little gift, a little extra that we need to learn about praying. I'm going to talk about the Jewishness of Jesus. A lot of people forget about that Jesus was a Jew, right? And I'm also going to talk about. Let me see my list here. I'm sorry. What's yeah, like, here we go again with Christmas. What are we changing during Christmas time? Because we, Christmas is so repetitive, but what are we changing? What are we doing something that it's going to be different and meaningful this Christmas? And the last one, because it's close to the new year, I'm going to talk about self-care and how are we going to start the new year, right? Spiritually and physically and all of that stuff. So this is the first thing I think about, because now that I have a topic, then my mind goes like, okay, who do I know that can talk to this topic very well? I put the name on my list, and I only put one person. Only if that person doesn't respond, then I go to add another person there. And then I put the date when I ask them. I put the date when they respond, yes or no. That thankfully, I have only one person in all my almost 2 years of doing interviews. Only one person has said no. So I put it in big red, big red letters, in bold letters for that person. But usually everybody says yes. I put a mark in there when I say the invitations, when they respond the invitations, when I created the thumbnail, and if I have sent all the information that they need, and when I received it, right? So that's kind of like that process in a big way. Then the next thing, once that I send an invitation, in the invitation, because I love talking about myself, I tell them who I am, what I do. I share my website. I send them a sample of a previous interview or a podcast. And that way, if they're not familiar with my material, they can get a feeling and say like, yeah, I want to be in her show, or no, this is not for me, right? And that way, I feel like we're not wasting each other's time. Or like I mentioned before, we might not be able to fit in that network, but she might, or a person that I invite say like, hey, Anna, guess what? I can't come to your interview, but I know someone that might be a perfect fit for that. So that's how you start getting the network. And we go back to that spreadsheet, and on the tabs, I also have, that spreadsheet that I show you, and then one that it says prospects. So in that other one, I put prospects that I might use in the future or that somebody recommended, and it doesn't fit the month topic, but eventually I can make a topic revolving to that guest. So do never disregard any networking possibilities, because you never know. So this is what I do. I tell them about myself and what I do, so I can get a response, and then let's just pretend that the guests say yes, I'll be there. Then we get we get to the booking. Okay, so and my friends here, they will not let me lie that sometimes the booking, when you have a guest, it is challenging because time zones, because people have other jobs and children and families and all those kind of things. So it's really hard to get connected or a time that works. But I usually put my guest first versus my schedule. I try to move things around for my guests because they're doing me the favor, right? So Calendly has become a really great tool for me because I block my times, like when I have a part-time job or I have something important, especially I have a soccer player in the house that I have to drive a lot. So I block my times, and then this person knows what else is available and try to accommodate that person. Then I send them the show flow. The show flow, it's also super important for me because that's where I ask them what I need. And I usually need like three simple things, right? Like a picture of them for the promo, their links on where people can connect. And if I do quite a bit of book authors interviews, so if they want to give away something, or a nonprofit organization have an event, things like that, information that it will be helpful for our viewers to know about them, that's when I collect all this information in the show flow. Now, Messenger on Facebook has been one of my best allies because we're on the go, right, all the time. And Facebook, it's a very good, like, you hear the ding, so I got a message, unless like some people have it on silent when you're working or things like that, right? Because you have to concentrate. But anyway, so Facebook Messenger has been a very, very helpful tool for me to land on those dates and times when it comes to having a guest. So that's the second step. First time, the first step is the spreadsheet, then my booking, and then we get to the work. This is when the real work starts, because I have two goals to meet before the live stream really happens. So the first one is create the promo, right? And I want to do that in a timely manner, so my guest has the opportunity also to share in their network, hey, I'm gonna be on this show, so don't miss it. And so people can come and watch us. So I use Canva. That's what I use to create the thumbnails. And because it's easy for me also to schedule from Canva. So that's one of the biggest tools that I use. As again, I publish the promos and send the links for the guests to share. Now, there are some people that are not familiar with how live stream works. I mean, like, I mentioned before, it could be a book author and that is just starting, and they have no idea how to share the links or how to even get into the studio when they're going to be guests on a live streaming. So then my second goal is to make sure that my guest is prepared, and doesn't fumble on the live stream, to make them shine, just like my friends are doing here today. I feel very honored, and I'm just like, oh, look at me. So this and I've learned, they say that when you don't succeed, you have it's because it's not your time, or you have to learn something, and that has happened to me. So I've gotten guests and I get everything ready, right? Like I create the promo and I'm like blasting my Facebook and scheduling promos every single day towards my live streaming. And then guess what? It's like 10 minutes before the live stream, and I forgot to send the link for the guest to get into the studio. Like, and then they're texting me or trying to get a hold of me, like, hey, how do I get in? So that's why I set it as a goal, because I have to make sure that I send them the link to get into the studio. And then the second thing, once that they're in the in the studio, is doing the tech check. Because again, if you have a guest that is not used to do the live streaming or recording podcast or anything like that, I actually have encountered people that do audio podcasts and they don't know how to do the light in the camera, and they get very nervous because the camera is on. So my job as a host is to make them feel comfortable, that make them look good, like say, hey, can you move your lamp over here, can you move your microphone closer, can you stand up or move to the right, left, make them look good. And of course, make sure that their microphone and camera works, as good as it can for a live stream. And then the last thing I do is chit chat, before we go live, because I think that connection brings our cortisol down a little bit. And then that excitement turns into like, okay, I know this person. Like, it's hard to be looking at a camera and just talking to the camera and not thinking about a person that's on the other side. So the chit chatting and, how was your day? Or there's something that we can talk about. I pray before we go live, and I pray for the connection, the internet. I pray for my guests, and I pray for what the things that we are about to share. So, we glorify the Lord with it. So this chit chat, obviously, depending on your content, brings your guests to like, oh, I know this topic, I know what I'm going to talk about, and brings like those nerves a little bit lower, and then the confidence arise for both of us. So yeah, that's the next step that I do. And then I wanted to share with you also my best friends, besides the ones that are here. uh, these are my three things as far as technology that I go through and that I just love. And I don't think I could be doing live streaming or podcasting or any of the stuff that I do without these three things right here. So Canva, it helps me create my Facebook posts, my promos, my thumbnails. There, it's infinitive, like all the things that I can do with it. Even my Christmas cards, I'm thinking about making them in Canva, right? So it is. I've learned a couple of tips and tricks from my friends at Content Creators Connect, because they have really good shows on how to use Canva, and it evolves a lot very often, so you have to keep up with them, and that's one of the things that I are like, oh gosh, I haven't checked on Canva, what's new. So if I can give you a tip, is like, hey, be constant and be checking out. Even if you created your content at the beginning of the month, check in the middle, because there's always new stuff. The second thing is StreamYard. I record my podcast, my audio podcast, from StreamYard, and then upload it to my host for podcasting, Spotify. And then I use StreamYard from then when I record or do my live streamings or recordings for my YouTube channel, I can also use StreamYard to do the shorts. They do them for me, basically. Like, you can pick parts of your video and it's done. And ChatGPT, it's been very helpful in the last, I don't know, 3-4 months, because as a mom, as a wife, and as a employee, sometimes my brain freezes, and like I have the idea of my topic, but I don't know the title. I don't know what to put in the thumbnail, or I don't know how to word. Like, I don't have the time to think about creating, the, what is it called when you write what the show is about? I can't remember of the word. So,
The
you know,
description.
description. Thank you. So Chat GPT, you just tell it and boom, right there, 5 seconds, copy and paste, and you're done. So it's been really, really good. Like, sometimes when I've been invited to a couple of shows, or I'm writing devotionals for a CBN or things like that, the titles, I struggle with them. And Chat GPT has been very good to inspire me to create my own content, because I don't like to just use it a lot as that, just grab it information, but it gives me, it keeps the juices flowing, if you know what I mean. And the last thing I want to share is thank you. Thank you. Always thank your guests. Canva, those really sweet, really cool thank you notes. So don't forget to thank your guest, and just keep up with them. Don't just use them for your live stream and try to get your numbers up. But I think it's important to create that connection, and it goes back to the very first point that I wanted to share. It comes back to networking, because those people are going to be connected with you, and you don't know, maybe you could be the guest in their shows at one point, like just happened here. So I appreciate you all. I hope this has helped you, and if you have any questions, I'm always available, and I love helping people. So thank you, Manny and Dori, for having me today, and just sharing here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is that okay? Or
Certainly
should I?
is.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
That was
You are
so
amazing.
awesome.
You are amazing. All right.
Oh,
All right.
you
So
can say more than
I
I am basic with a little extra.
I love your tagline, and I absolutely love your tagline.
Thank you.
So I personally, like, I was putting messages in like the chat area, like, you absolutely just killed it with summarizing that whole idea of why networking is so incredibly important. And I love to hear how other content creators, like, how your journey progresses, how you plan for your shows, and just the mindset behind some of the things that you do. And also love to hear like what kind of tools. And it's kind of cool that you are actually using a lot of the tools that we talk a lot about here.
Mhm.
Um, get to see those tools in the wild, if you will. So
Yeah.
I want to actually slide into more of an informal, like Q&A type of situation, and learn a little bit more about your content, maybe like how you became an online presence, and things like that. So if you are watching and you have questions for Anna, don't forget to drop them, either questions or comments, in the chat right now. but I'm actually going to roll over to Manny and see if he has any thoughts on the presentation or any follow-up questions for you.
Anna,
Sure.
great job. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm a big fan of networking, and you really, really brought it when it comes to building those relationships and how networking can help increase, that whole following. It can really open up those doors for, more opportunities in everyone's world. To me, one of the big things that you hit on that I really liked was, having your two goals going at it. First, you got to promo it, right? You got to get it out there. That way there's exposure for everyone that's involved. And then second, you're being having your guests prepared. I think that you
Mhm.
summed it up right there, because truth is that helps them be a little more prepared as well, with a lot of that. One of my questions I did have is, do you have do you use a checklist, like something that you follow before every episode?
Well, in my show flow, I do
Yeah.
have, just like bullet points of like, this is this is how we're gonna go, right? Like, I'm introduce you, I'll ask you three questions, but those three questions are like bulky questions, so we can keep the conversation back and forth. And then I have my other bullet points with asking them for the things for the show.
Gotcha. I have a techie question. Have you
Mhm.
tried OBS and just stuck with StreamYard, or do you just really like find StreamYard simple, easy? I know what I'm doing with it.
I had my nights of, you see the bald spots right here because I was pulling my
With
hair with
OBS.
OBS.
With the audio is where I ran into that. I never got good at OBS.
Hmm.
I quickly upgraded to vMix, and then
Yeah,
everything got better. But
yeah,
OBX with the audio, I was up till like 2 in the morning with a lot of feedback. So I get those sentiments 100%.
yes.
Yeah,
I found
I can appreciate
StreamYard.
that.
Yeah, I found StreamYard very budget friendly. I find it super easy to use and really good quality with the equipment, the quality of the equipment that I have. Because like I said, I'm basic with a little extra. My microphone is like half price there. Like, I have a Logitech. I'm not the Canon M150, all, all that
Yeah,
good stuff. So
yeah,
I think
I
this
can
works for
appreciate
me.
that.
Yeah, that this works for me. And I also got very wrapped up on the tech at the beginning. Like, oh my gosh, well, Dory has the very fancy microphone. I want that, right?
You know,
I
And
get it.
it's funny. If Kevin were here tonight, Kevin would be the first to speak up and say, "You use what you
What you
have."
have.
And your quality is amazing, your sound is amazing. You were able to screen share like it. If it works for you, I think that's the message that all content creators need to hear. Whatever works for you, whatever you feel comfortable
right,
using, whether it be OBS, StreamYard, Ecamm, vMix, heck, going live from your phone, which is, what I do
Zoom,
propped up
One
on
of
the
the best.
dashboard. You do what you do, it's more about the message. And
correct.
that leads to a question I have for you. So
Hmm.
I know you got your start in doing ministry work and you did that in person. So can you just briefly talk a little bit about what made you decide to take your message online?
Yeah. Well, if you haven't heard, there was a pandemic in the world.
I
So,
don't know what you're talking about. I'm a teacher. I don't
right?
know what that is.
So we had to shut down the actual ministry that we were doing, my family and I. And so, because I always loved tech, always loved learning stuff. So I went to YouTube University and figure out how to start live streaming or record videos. Actually, I wasn't live streaming. I was recording videos and sending them to the parents so they can show the kids my Bible stories and, keep the ministry going. So, a lot of friends, like pastors, were like, how do you do that? Like, how can you teach us? And so that's when I was like, okay, maybe my ministry shift. I'm not teaching kids anymore. I'm teaching adults how to use the technology and use it for that advantage to share, their faith, their Bible lessons, their groups, like Bible study groups and things like that. So that's basically how I started in this. And then I discovered Lita on Facebook with Luria Patrici. And from there, I landed in an amazing, amazing Facebook group where I learned from all of live streamers and people that are just amazing.
And I think that goes back to your point tonight of networking,
Networking.
right?
That's right.
So, and Manny's really big into networking in person, which actually, that reminds me, I started his comment from earlier. So, locally in the St. Louis area, he is inviting you to join if you ever hop in.
For sure.
And so I'm just kind of going down through. I think you touched on this. Manny mentioned during when you talked about finding your topic for the month, which I personally think is a great way to approach your content. Manny, you asked are you using AI to help generate your ideas, Anna, or are the ideas yours and then you're using the AI to help you generate like the descriptions and things?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Like I use usually things that are happening to me. That's how I pick the topic. For example, my daughter started high school in August, and I was freaking out because I saw a lot of changes and things. So I interview teenagers. I interview the college, not the college, the high school principal. Things like that that I like will help me as a mom that is freaking out because now she has a high schooler. Dori, she was my guest. Talking about high schoolers and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's your real life situations is a perfect place to find your points of content.
And
And I,
because I am basic. I don't know if you can see it there. It says,
do I see an idea? A light bulb. Okay. Yep.
yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Big ideas.
So it's just a basic little box with cards, and I made tabs. And when I'm in the kitchen and think of something, I come and put a sticky note and put it on the tab there. So I'll come back whenever I'm not having good ideas.
I love that. I need to start doing that more because
That's a
I
great
feel like
idea.
it's the time. I don't know if this ever happens to the two of you, but like you are washing the dishes or driving the car or in the shower or drifting off to sleep, and the idea pops into your head at the most inopportune time where you are not sitting at a desk where you could grab a piece of paper and a pencil or jot it down on your phone. So that's a great tip right there, Anna. I love that in and of itself.
Yes. Yes. Big
And
time.
I'm just double checking here. Kevin's questions, I'm pretty certain we hit them all because you did such an amazing job on your presentation. So you talked
Thank
about your
you.
preparation. You talked about how you bring in your guests and what your setup is. I do have one comment that he made that he said that in watching your streams, you had a very interesting countdown timer. You say you're going live in 5, but you count up from 5, which that completely blew his mind. Totally blew his mind because it's called a countdown timer. So he wanted me to make sure that he mentioned that was a very interesting approach to the
Right.
countdown.
Well,
But
that's a strategy to make people comment and hit the algorithm.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Oh my God, I love it. Well, I would like to end with what you stressed is the last and most important step in the networking process when you are interviewing people, and that is a round of heartfelt thanks. So,
Aw.
you have been our inaugural first guest on C3, and I can't speak for Manny and Kevin, but I know that personally, I am incredibly grateful for you joining us every week, coming on here, sharing your journey and your approach. And I just want to say one more time, thank you very much for being on here with
Thank
us.
you, Anna. And thank you for
Oh,
rocking this episode.
Absolutely,
well,
absolutely.
thank you so much. Like I said before, I've learned so much from you guys, and I'm a big fan. And anytime now we have to do it the other way. Y'all have to come to my show.
Count me
Anytime,
in.
anytime. So, with that, we are going to wrap things up. I would love to encourage each and every one of you to please check out Anna on all of her socials. I am going to drop the links into the YouTube chat right now. They are also in the description of our video on YouTube. So if you are watching us on Facebook, if you are watching us on X, hop over to our YouTube channel, grab Anna's links, and reach out and network with her because she is an absolutely amazing soul inside and out.
My
Thank
friend,
you.
and if you enjoyed content like this, and my gosh, Anna really brought it tonight, and you find it useful, we would love it if you'd like and subscribe to our channel. And sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love. And you can visit our website for all the information on the ways that you can connect with us at linktree/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Drop down into the comments exactly what you would like us to cover for you, what kind of content you would like to see in the near future. And please, thank you so much for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3 tonight, as we had the pleasure to learn about Anna's journey toward becoming a content creator. We will return next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Kevin will be talking about 10 gift ideas that won't break the bank this holiday season. And Kevin is all about helping you save money. So you will not want to miss that. We will be multicasting live to YouTube, Facebook, and X. So be sure to join us. Until then, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3 C's. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. See you next week. Bye-bye.